ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमहायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नमः श्रीशङ्करानन्द गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणि। Verse 23. अपरोक्षशिला बुद्धिः न परोक्षेशतां नुदेत् प्रतिमादिषु विष्णुत्वे को वा विप्रतिपद्यते. So in the first 12 verses of this 9th chapter, Vidyaranya differentiates two types of errors, Brahma. One is Samvadi, other is Visambadi. Brahma, any form of erroneous knowledge, which we, or even can call Adhyasa also. So generally this Adhyasa error will have a negative consequence. That is how we discussed in Vedanta. Like Rajju Sarpa and Shukti Rajata, etc. We give you examples also, mirage water. So in Vedanta, generally we have learned of a negative consequences of any error. So we say that the samsara is also adhyasa. There is no samsara. If you really see, samsara is purely born of adhyasa. Anatma is anatma. There is no samsara in anatma. There is no samsara in atma. Yeah, there is no samsara in atma. Atma is asansari ever. Anatma has no samsara. Anatma is limited by nature. That's how they are comfortable. Whatever is there, body is limited. Mind is limited. Senses are limited. They don't feel any kind of they don't have any sense of limitation, which we call generally as a samsara. Nothing. When you say I am the mind or I am the body, so basically you equate yourself as body, mind, senses, or body, mind, senses you superimpose, as we say. Well, we should not say Atma is superimposed upon Anatma. Never you should say that. Atma cannot be superimposed. Generally what is superimposed is mithya. Therefore if Atma is superimposed upon Anatma, then Atma is mithya. And therefore, well, that is not. So basically Atma is taken as Anatma, which we call as a tadatmithyasa. And Anatma is superimposed upon Atma either. Well, definitely that's an error. So we address this issue of a samsara with explanation of adhyasa or error. That is how adhyasa bhashyam is there in Brahma Sutra. In order to make the study fruitful of Brahma Sutra, Bhashyakara has to write adhyasa bhashyam. That there is something called adhyasa which is possible, which is there, and therefore in order to get rid of this adhyasa, well, one should gain knowledge of this Brahman, etc. That is how it has been narrated. So we have heard error means in a negative sense. But here Vidyaranya says, well, don't put all adhyasa under that. Some are even friendly also. So friendly. That is Sambadi Brahma. Beneficial. And he gave example, in that 12 verses, erroneous knowledge, at a level of pratyaksha, which is beneficial at the level of inference, beneficial even shastra, at a level of shastra. I mean, he chose few examples based on pratyaksha, anumana and shastra, that they are having a certain benefits, adhyasa. So Brahma will be beneficial or harmful, like cholesterol. So good and bad, right? We say good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. It's like that. So, and he gave a Shastriya Drishtanta also, in which, Bhagavan himself commits an error. So Ajamil, etc., in that, he called Narayana and he thought really he's calling me, etc. That person Ajamil was calling his son. But he basically, Bhagavan has somehow committed an error. And we also saw a very beautiful example of a Saundarya Lahiri. Then, that Bhakta wanted Devi, basically Devi's glance, diverted towards himself. So he addresses the goddess. He is a Dvaita Bhakta actually. He has no interest in Advaita Jnanam, etc. He wants a Devi's glance, glance of goddess, glance of mother, to fall upon him so that he will have benefits. So it says, Bhavani tvam vitara drishtim mai dase. So, Bhavani, because Lord Shiva is called Bhava. Therefore, the Shakti is called Bhavani. And the Bhavani, it's a Dirgha actually. And when you address, Sambodhanam will be He Bhavani, Krasva, He Nadi. So, he addresses Bhavani, like that he addresses to mother. Tvam vitara drishti mai dase. So basically this Bhavani has two meanings. Bhavani as a verb means may I become. Bhavani, Bhavava, Bhavama, Bhava, Bhavatam, Bhavata, etc. These are the forms of the lot, imperative mood. So Pratham Purusha Ekvachanam or Uttama Purusha Ekvachanam will be Bhavani. Aham Bhavani. May I become. That's the one meaning of Bhavani. The second meaning of Bhavani is this. Hey Bhavani, O mother. Right? Bhavani word is there and the Sambodhanam will be Bhavani, only Rasva. So, O Bhavani, O mother. So either as a verb, either as a noun. And so when what goddess committed a mistake is she understood Bhavani as a verb. And so Bhavani Tvam. So she thought this Bhakta is addressing me, of course, but then he says Bhavani Tvam. Bhavani means may I become. Bhakta says may I become Tvam. May I become you. And she was so impatient that she did not listen what is said later. Bhavanitvam vitara drashtim mai dase. Mai dase. Drashtim vitara. May you have a glance on me, etc. May or drashti fall on me, etc. But she was so impatient because of compassion. She thought this Bhakta wants a oneness with me. So Bhavani Tvam. Bhakta is telling Bhavani, may I become Tvam, you. Oh goddess, may I become you. And then she immediately gave him moksha. So this kind of an error. You understand one thing instead of another. And then definitely, this is the 12th verse in Saundarya, in that this is there. Anyway, Saundarya has 100 verses. This is the 12th verse. So even Mother Goddess also, makes this Brahma error, which is beneficial to the to this bhakta, favorable to devotee. So anyway, so this is how Samvadi Brahma is there in Shastra example, Saundarya. And Samvadi Brahma we saw in Pratyaksha. Samvadi Brahma is there in inference also, etc. etc. And in also in the 11th verse, I'm just referring to 11th verse, where Vidyananda makes another division within the field of Samvadi Brahma. Not explicitly said, but he made a little distinction also. I mean, some division. There are two types of Samvadi Brahma. Samvadi Brahma committed out of Ajnanam, which turns favorable accidentally, blessing in disguise, like we saw the example, or Samvadi Brahma deliberately, prescribed by the Shastra, followed by, it is there in the Veda also. So Shastra Vihita Brahma or Ajnana Janita Brahma, either. Samvadi Brahma, Ajnana Janita Samvadi Brahma, Shastra Vihita Samvadi Brahma, two types of Brahmanas. And Ajnana Janita we saw already, accidentally, because she understood something else. Rather than taking it as a noun, she took it as a verb, Ajnana Janita. But Swamiji, how Goddess has this kind of ignorance? This is just to say, please understand. This is don't go too much into that. It's an example. Take this much. That's it. Then only you enjoy. If you keep analyzing and writing bhashyam on that, your own bhashyam, then you will lose the charm. What I'm saying is, so Ajnana Janita Samvadi Brahma we discussed also, based on these three Pratyaksha, etc., Anumana and Shastra. Then Shastra Vihita Samvadi Brahma is what? All upasanas described in the Shastra. That Shastra only says you superimpose. Right? Asmin Haridra Bimbe Sumukham Mahaganapatim Dhyayami Avahayami. Asmin Haridra Bimbe. So you make a Haridra, you make a lump. It's a lump of turmeric. You make it, you add little water in turmeric powder and make a lump and put it in a plate and then say Asmin, in this Haridra Bimbe, in this bimba made of this turmeric, Mahaganapatim, Sumukham Mahaganapatim. Mahaganapati, which is very, very handsome, Mahaganapati, I am dhyayami. I am meditating. Avahayami, I am calling him here because I want to do worship. I want to worship him. And therefore, you need an altar. If Ishvara is formless, and why do you think about the form? You cannot worship a formless Ishvara. You need an altar, and an altar means a form. A formless thing cannot be an altar of worship. And therefore, there is a form which we Shastra Vihita. So it's a superimposition. Definitely. You superimpose Mahaganapati on the Haridra. It's a purely, if you know her, the lump of the turmeric as a lump of turmeric, it is knowledge. If you look upon lump of turmeric as a Mahaganapati, it's purely superimposition. But Samvadi Brahma, it's in your advantage. So Shastra Vihita, Shastra tells you to do that. So anyway, so Shilayam Devata Buddhi, etc. also we know in that stone, etc. also there is a Devata Buddhi. Atasmin Tad Buddhi Adhyasa. That's a definition. So we can definitely understand this. And what favorable result will come if I superimpose like this? Well, Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, etc. and Chitta Vishalata, everything you get. So that is also one of the things we have to understand is a expansion of the mind. Generally, we have a narrow thinking. And here, the knowledge we are going to get is everything is one. I am everything. And therefore, definitely you need to have a expansion of your mind. That is how expansion meditations are there. Virat Upasana, which has been described in the Shastra, is meant for this. Vishwarupa Upasana, Vishwarupa meditation, etc. What Bhagavan discussed in the 11th chapter is purely for meditation. That is how in the 12th chapter Arjuna asked the question also, that the Upasaka of this Vishwarupa is better, or the person who is committed himself or self for gaining the Nirguna Brahma Jnanam is better. Like that he started. And therefore, this is a very, very important aspect, because this is one of the aspects of the mind which needs to be disciplined, and that is the narrowness of the mind has to go. For that, you need to visualize something which expands, and the best meditation is a Vishwarupa Upasana. And then Shastra, in the Upanishads also it is there. Anyway, so you gain this kind of meditation by superimposing this. Definitely, Chitta Shuddhi will be definitely there, and then definitely you get a focusing capacity also, and also you get the expansion of the mind. So they are all Sambadi Brahma. So this kind of Shastra Vihita Sambadi Brahma ultimately helps you. Now, in these 12 verses, Vidyaranya has talked about this Sambadi. Sambadi Brahma also has been also talked. And ultimately, this is a basis of a Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Sambadi Brahma is a basis for Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Very unique concept which Vidyaranya wants to establish in this chapter. And then after introducing two Brahmas, who is a candidate of this Nirguna Brahma Upasana, or in what context this Nirguna Brahma Upasana is there, that is discussed now. And that is verse number 13 to 29. So, verse 13 to 29 discusses candidate and context of Nirguna Brahma Upasana. And while discussing that, he showed that there are certain Vedantic students who has got Paroksha Jnanam of Brahman by studying Avantarvakya of the Vedanta, or they have studied a Mahavakya, but Mahavakya either has not been understood by them, or even if it is understood, it is not understood properly, or Mahavakya is understood properly, yet that knowledge, assimilation, etc. has not taken place due to some obstacle. So all these conditions are there. Just studying Avantarvakya, he will come to know Brahmasti. Jagat Karanam Brahmasti. Like a very initial portion of the Brahmananda Valli, if you study in our Taittiriya Upanishad, very initial portion. So then, you may feel that Brahman is the Jagat Karanam. That is one of the definition of Ishvara. Brahman is Jagat Karta, Ishvara is a Jagat Karta is the first definition. Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam, second definition. Ishvara is Jagat Adhishthanam, third definition. It's a gradual. For beginners, Ishvara is Jagat Karta. Then little more maturity, Ishvara is Jagat Karanam, maker, material, both. And then if we become a little more mature, Ishvara is Jagat Adhishthanam. Everything is appearance. Maker, material, both are appearances on one thing. So that is final. Anyway, so either the person has studied Avantarvakya, in which Brahma Jagat Karanam Asti, so Brahma Asti, Paroksha Jnana. Or else Mahavakya is studied but he did not understand. Some obstacle. Obstacle can be a drashta or adrishta. We are not going to discuss that thing. Vidyaranya did not discuss. Drashta pratibandha means say, well, due to some ill health or due to some environment, external environment, which is not conducive, or etc. Or some adrishta pratibandha. We don't know. And Vidyaranya does not discuss. But there is a pratibandha. So, Avantar Vakya only studied, then he will not understand, he will not gain the Aparoksha Jnanam of Brahman. Or a person has studied Mahavakya but he did not understand at all. Or he has studied but understood partially. Well, then also Aparoksha Jnanam will not take place. Or he understood completely, but due to obstacle he could not assimilate. He understood that Brahman is Aparoksha, immediate. Everything is, well, there is one thing which cannot be negated, and that is the self. And therefore, well, there is no, and it is not away. Brahman being Brahman, all pervading, including time and space, and therefore it is right now, here. And that is the self. And well, everything can come and go. Everything can be negated also in one state or the other. But one thing which cannot be negated is the self, which is there in all the three states of time, which is of the nature of existence, consciousness, etc. Well, understood. Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, etc. Or Aham Brahmasmi. But afterwards, no assimilation. He should say, I am Brahman then. No, he is not able to say. Yeah. So then in that case, well, definitely there is some obstacle, drashta or adrishta pratibandha, and so Mahavakya has not done its job properly due to obstacles in the, generally obstacles are present in this is just for a moment. See, this is a process of knowledge. In a process of knowledge, a triad is involved. One is a pramata, other is a prameya, third is a pramana. Pramata, the knower, prameya, Brahman, and pramana, shastra plus teacher. Mainly shastra. Teacher only, gives you that understanding of shastra, but mainly shastra. Now, where, if knowledge does not occur, where could be the defect? Prameya. Brahman. Brahman has some defect? No. Nirdosham hi samam Brahman. Brahman is free from any defect. Then Shastra. Shastra has a defect. Shastra is is basically an expression of the Ishvara's knowledge. And then it's Apaurushaya. Therefore, there is no Purusha dosha in that. So Shastra also does not have a dosha. Pramana has no dosha. Then where is the dosha? Pramata. Pramata has a dosha. Either in terms of lack of qualification or drashta patibandha, either. Anyway, so Mahavakya has not done job properly. So he still has a knowledge because he has been exposed to pramana. So he has a knowledge that Brahman is like this, ashabdama, sparshama, rupama, rasam, nityam, agandhavat, etc., free from attributes, etc. Brahman doesn't have a sound, Brahman doesn't have a form, Brahman doesn't have a color, Brahman doesn't have any kind of a touch, doesn't have any smell, no taste, etc. So, but this knowledge, free from attributes, etc., well, this knowledge is called Paroksha Jnanam Brahman, that he has. And since, and because we have to call it as a knowledge, because it is generated from the Shastra, either only Avantar Vakya or even including Mahavakya, not understood properly, but it is generated from the words of the Shastra. Therefore, it is Jnanam. Paroksha Jnanam is Aparoksha Vastu, and Jnanam is Paroksham, therefore it is Brahma. No. You have, and that has been discussed very beautifully in chapter 7, between verse 51 to 55, where Vidyaranya raised 4 doubts against Paroksha Jnanam of Brahman. Well, how will he call it as a knowledge? He himself asked question that Paroksha Jnanam of Brahman cannot be called knowledge. It should be called Brahma. So, he raised 4 doubts against that. That let us put it into Brahma. Will not call Jnana. But then he answered also. And he said Paroksha Jnanam is possible, generated from, it is, even there is Brahman which is Jagat Karanam. How did you come to know this? Shastra. Therefore, if you say Brahma, means Shastra generates Brahma. If Shastra generates Brahma, then Shastra is no more a Pramana. Pramana cannot generate a Brahma. Pramana can generate a knowledge. Pramajanyam, Pramajanakam Pramanam. And therefore, not a Brahmajanakam Pramanam. It is Pramajanakam Pramanam. And therefore, and he other arguments also. And we have a Paroksha Jnana. We never say Brahma. Like on a mountain, there is a fire. I don't see. Right? So what you do? Inference. Through inference, you get a direct knowledge of fire or indirect knowledge. Paroksha Jnanam or Pratyaksha Jnanam. Aparoksha Jnanam of fire. Which type of knowledge? Paroksha Jnanam. Will you call Brahma? Paroksha Jnanam of fire on the hillock, seeing the smoke. Will you call it as a Brahma? Or you call it as a Jnanam? Jnanam. It is a Paroksha Jnanam. You don't see fire with your eyes. You infer there is a fire because you see the smoke. So you call it as a Paroksha Jnana. You say indirect knowledge of fire you have. You don't call it as a Brahma. And like that, there are so many other arguments also. But he established that Paroksha Jnanam is possible. And this person, who is under discussion now, who is going to do Nirguna Brahma Upasana, for his advantage, in that he is going to superimpose what? Upon himself, upon the ego. Upon Ahankara is going to superimpose what? Brahman. I am Brahman, I am Brahman. But that's a reality sign, but it's not reality for him. And therefore, even though it is a reality, it should be a reality for you. Yeah. There is no snake, rope is rope. Everything is fine, but the person who says that it is a snake, at least he should tell that there is no snake. Yeah. That there is only rope. And therefore, then only there is advantage, otherwise there is no advantage. If fact is not discovered, there is no advantage. Fact is something which can be discovered of. Belief cannot be discovered. Fact can be discovered. What is discoverable is fact. And therefore, definitely, if you discover it, that yes, I am Brahman, then you are free. Because Brahman is free self. And therefore you say, I am free self. Freedom. But if you have a simply Paroksha Jnanam due to obstacle, then definitely superimpose upon yourself Ahankara. What? I am Brahman. That's it. It is a Sambadi Brahma. That's an error, superimposition. But it is going to be Sambadi. It's going to be beneficial, removing obstacles, etc. And then knowledge will take place. He will no more say Brahman is, he will not have a Paroksha Jnana of Brahman. He will say a Paroksha Jnana. Of course, through Nidhyasana, etc. also has to be done. But this is what the line of discussion is. So, Paroksham api tajjnanam, Tattva Jnanam natu Brahmaha. Verse 20. Well, I'm going back a little bit because this is a topic which needs a little elaborate discussion or repetition, etc. And therefore, even though we are on verse 23, I am referring right now verse 20. So, parokshamapi tajjnanam, brahmajnanam, parokshamapi, even though it is paroksham, tattvajnanam, it is jnanam, natu brahma. So, it doesn't liberate a person because, through Mahavakya only, the Shastra, the Shastra through Mahavakya only will generate a paroksha jnanam and then you will be free. But this person basically, avicharinaha, durbodhaha, this person is not efficient. Avicharina means is not efficient enough, even though teacher may be telling again and again that you who is the immediate one, which immediate self is Brahman, etc. But he is not able to understand. Wow, aparoksha, see this efficiency, etc. Avicharina has many things in that. Basically, this aparoksha jnanam is possible when shravanam is complemented by mananam, or when mananam is complemented by shravanam. See, the shravanam, well, definitely you do, and it will, if you do effectively, definitely there some doubts will arise. And if it has not arisen, means we may not have given enough thought. Sometimes the commentaries, etc., discuss those things. I mean, the acharyas themselves create a doubt and then answer. That is what Pancadasi is doing since long. In fact, most of the Prakarana Granthas have this job. Prakarana Grantha is a Shastra Ekadesha Sambaddham. So, Shastra Ekadesha Sambaddham is the Shastra is a larger, I mean, the bigger subject matter. But Ekadesha Sambaddham. So, one particular thing is picked up by Acharya. And he discusses all nuances. All types of doubts will be created and resolved, etc. So, that's a book which discusses like that. It's called Prakarana. So you see, in Pancadasi, we have seen many types of doubts have been resolved, right? So, and when the doubt is raised by Acharya, we feel, yeah, we need answer of this, right? We don't feel that, oh, this doubt is not there. We always feel that, yeah, that's a doubt. Yeah, that's true. And therefore, definitely, Shravanam is complemented by Mananam. And Mananam, well, definitely, certain doubts will be resolved when you do again Shravanam, right? And therefore, they are complementary to each other. So, the person who has an efficiency, well, he does both this, and thereby definitely he will gain aparoksha jnanam. But this person, well, due to obstacle, his Shravanam is not effective, and if he has done Shravanam, well, his mind is not able to generate different doubts, could not resolve, even if they are there, could not resolve, etc. Any type of pratibandhaka may be there. So, if Mahavakya has to do its job, both have to be complemented. But anyway, so avicharina, this person is, well, cannot do mananam, let's say, independently. And Shravanam, of course, he can do that based on his free will, but is not effective. So, why, Swamiji, but why it is happening like that? There are other people also listening to the teaching, and he is also listening to the teaching. What happens is, one of the very predominant obstacle we discussed also, and that obstacle, I feel it is rampant in the Vedantic students, and that is giving too much importance to improvement of anatma. How can you say, Swamiji? See, what happens is, whenever you become free in a waking state, you are active and you're doing a lot of things through your conscious mind, and so those things are there predominantly in your mind, conscious mind. But when you become free, what comes to your mind? You know, the several thoughts are gushing. All the thoughts, varieties of the thoughts are there, but all the thoughts are pertaining to improvement of anatma, body, mind, senses, etc. That's the biggest obstacle. The mind which should be available for mananam, even if you have listened, suppose Shravanam is over, then you have to dwell upon it well in order to gain clarity, making it free from doubts. But mind is all the time occupied with the improvement of anatma. You have an agenda. You means, I'm just saying in general, one has an agenda to all the time improve. It also includes a relationship also. Yeah, that's all part of that. So I am not all the time thinking about my body, but you all the time think about the relationship with the children, relationship with the other friends, or relationship with the husband, wife. All is based on what? Body as Atma. So basically it is anatma, but you take it as Atma still, and that is also okay. That's a mistake. Well, it's a habitual error. That's fine. But you work for the improvement of the Anatma all the time, then this is a very big obstacle. Why? What Vedanta says? Vedanta says falsification of Anatma. And what your mind does is the improvement of Anatma. Is never going to work. It never works. There is no bridge between them. One says a falsification, including mind. People ask sometimes questions regarding mind. Oh, mind is. Yes, Puju Swamiji has one place in California. He answered like this: mind is nothing. It's a mithya thing. This thing, and that person was shocked. Yeah, but Puju Swamiji wanted wanted to drive home this idea of the teaching of the Vedanta. More you dwell upon your own minds and the things which are present in the mind, more you give the reality. And then you think about the improving. So you have a certain knowledge, let's say, in your intellect. You want to improve, pertaining to the world. Or you have certain emotions, you want to refine them, or you want basically, all the emotion has a basis in one emotion, that's a love. And one, definitely from the birth to the death, one always has this a requirement of this thing, and that is love. I need to be loved all the time, you feel. And that doubt also pertains. Doubt remains, all the time. Whether somebody really is loving me or not. That is also issue. And it has a basis in the childhood. It has basis in the childhood. The human mind, the human being basically, is self-conscious and therefore self-judgment. And as a child, what judgment you will have about yourself? You have a judgment, you are insignificant. You are seeing around, parents and all, they are big, like gods. You have that sense of insignificance from the childhood. All are insignificant in their, in that early stage. But human being has this capacity to judge, naturally being self-conscious, and that is the core person. That is called emotional person. And due to that, you always feel that people should love you. So you will accept yourself. The sense of insignificance will go to an extent. And it is not addressed properly, generally, by the parents and other things. And so it persists all the time. And that is wow. Anyway, let's not go into that. But point is improving. Why this person is not loving me? What should I do in order to be accepted, in order to be loved by the other person, some person, whatever. So all the time, person thinks about the relationship, person thinks about improving the mind, improving his sharpness of intellect or something, improving the senses, improving the body, looks, so many things, improving the health, all the time. So in a Shravanam, you have heard falsification, thinking that these are all appearances. Don't give him much weightage. They are all your appearances of you, the self, everything. Not just your body, mind, senses, everything. But anyway, basically, and after Shravanam is over, you dwell upon that. If you have a certain doubt, go back to the teaching, etc. No. Mind, definitely stops thinking anything about this teaching, Atma, etc. It just starts thinking about an Atma. How to improve. There is a reason which I am going to say. So, avicharina, basically. Durbodha. Therefore, this knowledge will not take place. So, definitely, so Vedantic approach is entirely different than the general convention, of the person's thinking. So, vyartham shunaha puchha iva atra pumsam, improving this anatma, etc., is like straightening the tail of the dog, which never occurs. It's really bound, it's bound to fail. It will have a temporary success. That's how people keep doing. Temporary success will be there. But later, because its nature is to be they are born and gone, and so they are limited all the way. They have certain attributes and they don't have certain other attributes, and therefore definitely the people who really want, they want to improve to the extent that it doesn't need improvement. Yeah, they want to improve their body, mind, senses, everything to the extent that it doesn't need afterwards your attention for improvement. To that extent you want to improve, and then only you feel that now everything is in ideal condition, and therefore you are free. You are already free. Shastra says, drop this anatma. Is basically, this is anatma and it is all appearances. It is false. Forget it. You don't have any limitation at all. You are already free. You are already complete. You are a complete being. No. I will improve anatma, taking it as atma and thinking that, well, a certain ideal condition will arise by which I will not have any sense of limitation. That is called moksha, they say. That is freedom. That is not freedom. And that is the reason why Mahavakya is not working. Tattvamasi clearly shows in a present tense that you are free. You are what you want to be in your life. You are Brahman, which is free self. No. So this is what, then all this, Shravanam is there, and therefore say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is all parrot. Jagan Mithya. If Jagan is Mithya, then your body, some mind, senses are a Mithya. Then where is a question of improving? What is already an appearance? Why to improve? Anyway, it's not a tangible thing. Well, basically, anyway. So this anatma mithyatvam, etc., is by practicing this Shravana Mananam and Nidhyasanam, etc. And one more thing is, after that you can improve anatma. But then you will improve anatma as anatma. You are very objective. You can improve better also. Yeah. And even if after your efforts, if it is not improved, suppose, you won't bother. You won't feel that, well, oh, I am failure. You won't say that. So this is there, by the way. Yeah. That after understanding this and gaining knowledge, even assimilating knowledge and saying I am free self, after that still body, mind, senses you can improve. If you want. It's an embellishment, but you can definitely do it. Anyway. So, well, the people, avircharina durbodha. So, well, this, as long as this project of improving anatma, etc., is dominant, ahankara will definitely be dominant, sense of individuality will be dominant. Sense of individuality basically means I is taken as a body, mind, sense complex. That's a sense of individuality. So, this RC, RM, all this, reflected consciousness means that is dominant. The medium, etc., the mind, body, etc., is dominant. And therefore, with that, if you do Shravanam, still the Ahankara is dominant only. So when Mahavakya is told Aham Brahmasmi, etc., there his Aham, he is not able to equate with the Brahman. Aham being Ahankara for that person. So the equation fails. So Vidyaranya says, don't worry, Aham Brahmasmi Vrittihi, even though it is not equation Vritti for you, well, but still, it's not a Jnana Vritti for you, but you imagine now. Same Aham Brahmasmi you take, and you do Vritti Avritti. Yeah. If Vritti Avritti is there even in Nidhyasanam. Yeah, you continuously say Nidhyasanam that Aham Brahmasmi, etc. You think about that whole teaching you bring into. And that's a Vritti Avritti. But that will help you in assimilation, getting rid of the habitual error. But this person definitely is, there the person understands. Very clearly he says, I am Brahman. But he wants to get rid of this habitual error, the Dehatma Buddhi, etc. It's a purely habit. So, well, definitely, there Nidhyasanam works. That is also aham brahmasmi vrittya vritti. Here also aham brahmasmi vrittya vritti, but this person, for him it is an imagination. He has no insight into that aham is Brahman. That person has already an insight, clear. But only to get rid of the habitual error, he is doing nididhyasanam, avritti. So definitely, this person's aham is still ahankara. He is still in the orientation of improving ahankara, body, mind, senses, etc. To such a person, well, if he says that, well, I want to gain this knowledge, definitely, Vidyaranya says, do this Nirguna Brahma Upasana. You superimpose Nirguna Brahma, well, that limitless Brahman, free from attributes, timeless Brahman, you superimpose upon the I, because your I is ego only, so then we will say it is superimposition. You do that, Pratyavritti you do, and that is definitely prescribed in the Shastra. Will have a Drishta, definitely a Drishta will be there. That Drishta will take care of the Pratibandhas, which is there in your mind, because of which you are not able to appreciate Mahavakya properly. You did not get Aparuksha. So anyway, and this idea, even in verse 21 also further he said, देहाद्यात्मत्व विभ्रांतो जागृत्याम न हठात् पुमान ब्रह्मात्मत्वेन विज्ञातुम क्षमते मंदधीत्वतः. I'm repeating a little bit, but don't worry about it. Even if if one class goes into repetition, don't worry about that. So anyway, so this idea Vidyaranya again presents in a very nutshell what we discussed. Dehadi vibhranto, etc. Dehadi atmatva vibhranto. So this fourfold anatma, beginning from deha and manaha and this family in prosperity, in senses and what, these anatmas, atmatva vibhranto. Well, these anatmas are taken as identical with myself by that person. That's how he has ahankara mamakara also. Atmatvam, you have to take it as ahankara plus mamakara, both. Because in possession, family, etc., mamakara. In body, etc., ahankara. Vibranto. Vibranto means a vibrantisha. What is a vibranti? Vibranti means misconception. Vibranto is a Vishaya Saptami. So with respect to this, with regards to this, body, mind, sense and other things, taking it as a self, well, so basically their condition, etc., well, determines my condition, etc. So jagratyam here means when they are predominant. Actually jagru word is, the word jagru is a root, and from there there is a jagrati, and it is saptami is jagratyam. So sati saptami, jagrat word, jagru will give you jagrat, present participle, and then you have to make a saptami of that, so jagrati. So because sati saptami, when these things are there, when such things are alive, when these things are predominant, which things are predominant? So dehadi atmatva vibhranto jagratyam. When deha, etc., has been taken as the self and the family, possession, etc., well, you take it as of your own mamakara, etc., when such a vibhranti, such misconceptions are alive, are predominant, hatat puman na brahmatmatvena vijnatum kshamate. So then definitely puman, in such a case, puman, this person, will not be able to gain this knowledge. Brahmatmatvena. So this himself is a Brahman, he will not be able to know. An individual cannot claim from his innermost heart that, well, I am ever free Brahman. So, and even suppose, well, because so Swami says you are Brahman, even if he says I am Brahman, his conscious mind immediately raises a question that are you really Brahman? Are you really free? Etc. And then, well, answer comes from within that it is not so. So, well, then definitely in such a case, hathat. So then definitely means Hathat means by force you cannot understand that I am Brahman. Knowledge doesn't has a force. Knowledge means understanding. There is no force. This Hatha etc. is possible only in Upasana. Yeah. By force you imagine that you are Brahman. You are Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. There Hatha is there. Their force is there in Upasana, because in imagination you have to have a little force. That's okay. But in knowledge there is no force. Let me do some, let me have a force on my mind to know that. No, it won't work, because force etc. is there in a free will, based on free will, and in knowledge there is no free will. If your mind is ready and pramana is there, teaching is there, then knowledge takes place. And therefore there is no force, of course, for that. So here Hathat brahmatmatvena vijnatum nakshamate. By force you cannot definitely equate yourself as Brahman etc. That I am free self. Let me by forcefully understand. No. Definitely that is possible in a upasana etc. Anyway, so and why this is there, whole thing is why mandadhitvataha. Mandadhitvataha means student has not understood that Vedanta is basically not meant for improvement of an Atma, but Vedanta is meant for falsification of an Atma. That is not understood by this person. That is called Mandadhi. Mandadhi in any case, frankly speaking, our judgment bar, because this question was asked in Chicago also, I still remember, where some youngster he asked a person that Vedanta definitely requires a very good intellect, sharp intellect, etc. I said no, that's not, nowhere it has been said like that. If sharp intellect means compared to me and others, there are many sharp people in this world. Oh my God, there is no question. But they are not able to appreciate even a sentence of that. Even though it's a reality, and they are in the field of discovery, research and other things, well, they may be doing great things in the world. But here also it's a fact. You have to discover it. Here also it's an equation. They are familiar with the equations. No. And therefore, we call them Mandadhi, even though in the external world they may be called most intelligent people and all this. We call them Mandadhi because they do not understand this principle that Vedanta is not meant for improving an Atma. It's merely for, in fact, if you understand the Mithyatvam, what is meant by this Mithya, what is meant by this falsification, if you understand this, it's done. It's done. What is Satyam is self-evident, self-existent. What is self-evident, self-existent, you need not have to search for. It's already there. It is only misunderstood. So that is how neti works. Negation works because of this. Mere negation. So after negation, I will have to see now the self which is limitless. Like that. Self is already limitless. It has been taken as the limited self due to identifying with the body, etc. If you understand body, etc., are mithya, a mithya thing cannot make Atma limited. A mithya limited thing cannot make the limitless Atma limited, being mithya. Could you follow what I am saying? Anyway, so we give example of a pot space, etc. The space cannot be divided by this pot, walls of the pot and this and that. So like that, Atma is limitless and it is self-existent, self-evident. The nature is of consciousness. In fact, because of that only you have experience of everything in the world. All the three states of experience. Therefore, you will not have to search for. After everything is negated, let me search for the Atma. If you have to search for Atma, then it will become an inert, one of the inert object in the world. It's therefore, that's not. Anyway, so Manda Dhitvataha, this is Imandadhi, because of that they have not understood. Then in 22 it has been said, Brahmamatram suvigneyam shraddaloho shastradarshinaha aparoksha dvaita buddhi paroksha dvaita buddhyanut. So, Vidyaranya says, even though this Brahma aparoksha jnanam is impossible for such a person, paroksha jnanam, Brahmasti, etc., that jnanam is, he is comfortable with. If you say, you are Brahman, so say Aham Brahmasmi, etc., he is not ready. His intellect will have a resistance, etc. But Brahmasti, there is a Jagat Karanam, Brahma, etc., he may accept because he has listened to the Shastra in that. So, Shraddaloho. So, he has a Shraddha in the Shastra, Pramana, and also Shastra Darshinaha. So, he has looked into Shastra, he has exposed himself to the teaching. So, he has a little bit of Jnanam of Brahman, not as a Paroksha Jnanam as a self, but at least he has a Jnanam that there is a Brahman, which is Jagat Karanam, etc. So, Shraddaloho Shastra Darshinaha. Brahmamatram Suvigneyam. Brahmamatram. So, Brahman, existence of Brahman is clearly grasped by this person. So, now here there is a little, suppose if you look into the Vakya of Mandukya, Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante, etc. Now, Shantam Shivam Advaitam, etc., when you say Advaitam non-dual, means definitely you are included in that. But explicitly, suppose Shastra does not say, suppose. Then Swamiji, should we consider as a Mahavakya or not? There are two opinions. Like our Puja Swamiji will be there, he says it is a Mahavakya. Advaitam itself reveals it is Mahavakya. There is non-duality, means the Jiva and Ishvara are not different. But some of the Acharya says where in the Shastra, explicitly the equation has been shown, that is considered Mahavakya. Like Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi or Prajnanam Brahma, etc. Those should be considered as a Mahavakya. Anyway, my point is Brahma Matram Suvigneyam. Existence of Brahman is clearly grasped by that person. We will consider that he has understood only Avantar Vakyas and he has not understood Mahavakya. So Vidyaranya says now, so Aparoksha Dvaita Buddhi, Paroksha Advaita Buddhi Anot, two things are there. Now this person has two things. The person who is under the discussion, he has first is Aparoksha Dvaita Buddhi. Here word Aparoksha you replace with Pratyaksha. Sometimes word Pratyaksha is used for Aparoksha is used for Pratyaksha. For direct. Aparoksha means immediate, but here it is direct. So Aparoksha Dvaita Buddhi. So he, through senses, he has a perception of Dvaitam, duality. That is Aparoksha Jnanam. And at the same time, Paroksha Advaita Buddhi. Naturally, we have said that he knows Brahman is Advaitam, etc. But he has a Paroksha Jnanam. He doesn't say, I am Brahman. So therefore, he has this both kinds of knowledge. One is directly from the senses, generated through the senses, Pratyaksha or Aparoksha Dvaita Jnanam. And Paroksha Advaita Jnanam generated from Shastra, Avantar Vakya, etc. And definitely, means can they exist together or not? That's point. Advaita Jnanam and Dvaita Jnanam. Dvaita Jnanam is what? Pratyaksha or Aparoksha. Advaita Brahma Jnanam is what for him? Is Paroksha. How Dvaita and Advaita Jnanam can exist together? That was the question. Well, we say, both the Jnanams are generated by the different Pramanas. And therefore they can exist. They are generated from the different pramanas, so therefore their spheres are different, their fields are different, and therefore they can definitely exist together. Like in a one room, in a night itself, where we are working or reading something, in that there is a light, and the adjacent room, there may be a darkness. So this light and darkness, how can they be together? Yeah, but then they are in the different rooms, they are in different fields, and therefore here also Dvaita Prapancha Jnanam, which is Pratyaksha, and this Advaita Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, which is Paroksha, generated through different pramanas, they have different fields, and therefore they can exist together. And such person can do even upasana also. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Advaita Brahma Asmi, Aham Advaita Brahma Asmi, he can do the upasana. That's not a problem. So Anut means two distinct brahmanas they exist in two different planes, and therefore Anut. So aparoksha dvaita buddhihi paroksha dvaita buddhehe Anut. So this aparoksha, the pratyaksha dvaita jnanam is Anut, means destroyer. Nud dhatu is there. Nud means to destroy. So Nud, it's as a word with a quip pratyaya, means destroyer. Anut means not destroyer. So this aparoksha dvaita buddhi, pratyaksha dvaita buddhi generated through the senses, cannot destroy, or is not a destroyer of what? Paroksha dvaita, paroksha advaita jnanam. Paroksha advaita jnanam cannot destroy. But Swamiji, can we take like this, that paroksha advaita jnanam is not destroyer of pratyaksha dvaita jnanam? Can we say that? No. Why? What is more powerful? Please tell me. Pratyaksha is more powerful, or paroksha is more powerful? Pratyaksha. And therefore we have to say, even though this pratyaksha jnanam through perception of the dvaita srishti is there, still it cannot destroy the paroksha advaita jnanam in that person, because basically both knowledge he has from the different fields. They exist in a different fields, like light and darkness exist in two different rooms, and therefore it cannot destroy. And he is going to explain further in verse number 23. That is enough for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So it is a buddhi anut. You have to take it as a buddhi plus anut, not buddhehe. I just said it a little wrongly. Paroksha advaita buddhi anut.